What's up, everyone? Another live show this week. I made it back. I was hoping to do one earlier, but stuff happens. It's crazy times we're living in these days. So I'm gonna bum around a little bit, wait for some people to show up. I'm about ready to start turning, so maybe I'll quickly do a top, and then once people get here, I can go on to the main project. Just want to do a bit of a warm up. Switch cameras here. Hey, you got two people out there. What's up, everybody? Waiting on a couple people to show up. I got just a small piece of wood chucked up for another top, just like we did last time. I was going to bang one out while I was waiting for people to show up and kind of get a bit of a warm up. So, one thing I forgot. I want to do color on this one. Here we go. All right. Let's get rolling. Turn this phone off. Everybody's blowing me up right now. Hey, what's up? We need to talk. We have to talk. What do we got to talk about? What if I could? What's up, Colin? Eric? No, you're not late. I just barely started. I got a little piece of maple chucked up. I was just going to quickly turn the top while, just kind of a little bit of a warm-up. I'm going to play off last week. Plus, my daughter wanted one, and she wanted me to do it pink. So I'm going to turn this thing really quick, and then I will be chucking up this piece. I thought tonight we could do a lidded box. They're fun projects. They're good intro projects, too, that'll kind of, help you develop some skills and tool control and things like that. And they help with precision, too, with getting the fit on the lid right, which I'll show you a tip for that has been helping me really nail it. But now that I say that, I'm going to try it, and it's not going to work out. Oh, man. I just cleaned my face shield, too, so it's like spotless. I don't know why I don't clean it every time. It's usually like looking through a dirty windshield. Double so because my glasses are always dirty, too. We'll get this guy cranked up. that should do it for that one. Let me just run through the grits real quick. It's pretty good off the tool. So I start with a 240. I watched after I did the show on tops. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. On one was from Michael Roper. If you guys aren't familiar with him, you can check him out on like Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. I think he's just Roper on Facebook, but he's got a really good video on tops. I picked up a few tips off of that. One thing he mentions is when you're sanding it, you don't want to sand over top of the tip. You want to keep it as sharp as possible so it has a nice point to balance on. So he just sands up to the tip, which I thought was a good little pointer. All right. Let me make always one more cut. Let me make one more cut. It'll be fine. Cool. Put some dye on it real quick. Another video I watched was from the channel's called Worth the Effort. I believe his name is Sean. I met him at the Oklahoma woodworking event in Skiatook. I think was it 2017, 2016. But yeah, he had a good one. It was about an hour long, and it was really informative about if you're turning in front of a crowd, how to keep people, interested in what's going on and get them engaging and talking to them and asking questions about stuff. That was a great video as well. So if you guys want to see more top videos, look up those guys for sure. All right. Not super pink, but hopefully it'll be all right. Might try to pull some of it back. I was luckily able to get some rubbing alcohol at the store. I couldn't believe it. I thought I found gold. So now I can try to cut back the dye just a little bit and see if I can lighten up the color. If I can get it open. Just use a little bit on the paper towel, and it will reactivate it. And you can pull some of it off. That's how you get good blends too. I did it a little bit on one of those tops last time, but I was about out of that alcohol, so. Yeah, we'll lighten it up a little bit. Not too bad. All right. Well, we can park that one off, and then we'll get on to the main event of the evening, which is lidded boxes for those of you who have just joined. Here we go. Set the sand and dye the end of it and spray some kind of finish on there, or no finish at all, and we'll see how durable that is. Okay. Let me swap my chuck out really quick. This is my smaller one. It's a knockoff. It's a Grizzly. It's a knockoff of the Vicmark VM100. But it worked in a pinch. I got it from my got it from my Harbor Freight lathe originally, and it works well. The issue is all this slop in the jaws. There's that one's real bad. There's no precision, not like the Vicmark. So the smaller chucks are nice for turning, little projects like tops. That's what I like them for, or other things. But my next chuck is going to be a Vicmark, small one, so I can get rid of this sloppy one and have a bit more accuracy, because I'd like to turn some smaller lidded boxes. I have a bunch of cool, really little pieces of wood, but I'd like to do some teardrop shaped ones. And you need a pretty accurate chuck to do stuff like that. I know it's a poor craftsman who blames his tools, but it's the truth. Let's see. Looking for my 4-prong. So I'll probably have to back you guys up a little bit. We'll find a good spot in a minute. Hey, shout out Ty Moser, Monoloca Workshop. So this is a piece of Siberian elm. It's about 3 1/4. It's, as you can see, it's not perfectly square. It's just the side of a tree. It was just an offcut from Bowl Blanks. I cut this up with Scott Kershaw from Cutthroat Woodworks when we were in Provo, Utah. That's Siberian elm. So that was fun. I think 2018. So this is a nice dry piece of wood. I checked it with my little moisture meter, and it told me 8%. So that sounds good to me. I don't really know, but you want your wood to be really nice and dry when you're doing lidded boxes. If it's green, they're going to move, and then they're not going to open up, or they're not going to seal right. You can rough turn them out of green wood, just like you rough turn bowls. I don't have much experience with that, but you can check out Sam Angelo, the Wyoming wood turner. I know he has a lot of info on that kind of stuff. But for me, I just start with really dry. Like I said, this has been cut down for like 2 years, drying out here in my garage. Have the ends sealed up with wax. Nice piece of quarter sawn wood. So it'll be good and stable, but it's not going to be very pretty, so I think I'll dye it. But it's good practice. Lidded boxes are a lot of fun to turn. They're one of the first projects that I ever turned when I started. I forgot. Got to take my vacuum chuck out. When I started going to Jimmy Clue's house, a lidded box with a inlay and a little synthetic sand ring around the inlay was one of the first projects that I turned at his house, and that really got me loving them. But once you get the fit right on the lid, you can nail it. You know, you can. What I mean is, you can take that to any shape. Once you know how to do a good tenon and recess and get a nice fitting lid, then that's it. It's game on with any shape. They're really versatile. I've seen lidded boxes shaped like acorns and lidded boxes that are cubes that are carved and have pewter inlay. That's from Pat Carroll. One of the tips that I'll tell you on getting the fitment right is one that I heard him talk about when he did a demo at Jimmy's house. So if you're not familiar with Pat, check him out. He's great. Pat Carroll on, I think, Instagram or Facebook. So I'm going to put this between centers. I just like to clamp my spur in. It makes it easy, and it's not going to be on there for very long. I'm just turning the tenon on it, and then I'll flip it around, chuck it up, and we'll turn another tenon. But let's see. What was I going to say? Yeah, I think I went through it all. Dry wood, chuck it up, turn a tenon. Like I mentioned before, this is pretty plain wood. Nothing too special, no fancy grain or anything. But what you really need to make sure about, like I mentioned, is nice and dry. But if you've got, as far as chucking it up, if you've got a piece of wood that's got some really nice grain in it, or maybe it's sort of checked at the top, you'll want to determine which end you want the top and which end you want the bottom beforehand. And so, cracks or grain patterns can make a difference in that. With this one, I don't care which end is the top, which end is the bottom. It all looks the same. So I'll chuck this thing up, and then we'll go to the comments. So check it out, like 12 people watching, which is awesome. I think that's a new record. Get it right on there. All right. Let me switch the other camera. Open up my drink. We'll see what everybody's up to in the comments section. All right. Got to scroll back up. Cherokee's out there. Eric Sanchez, Jim Bashirs. How's everybody doing tonight? Jonathan Ledford's out there. Kel Snake. Let's see. Jim says, I turned my first acrylic blank today to start making seam rippers for my wife's Etsy shop. Couldn't believe how cool it came out. That's awesome. I haven't really turned too much acrylic stuff. I always didn't like it because it would just chip out so bad, And so ever since they came out with those negative rake cutters for the Easy Wood, I hear it's just like butter. So that's one thing I want to get. I have a little one that I got for my son for if he ever wants to turn pens or whatever. But I'd like to get a negative rake cutter for this one. See how it goes. Oh, tonight we got ourselves Key Lime. One of the best LaCroix ever is the Key Lime, in my opinion. Changed my mind. The next one, Mango Bubbly. As you can see, I don't discriminate. I like all brands. Although one of my favorite parts about LaCroix is, I forget the National Beverage Company, I think is who owns it, but they also own Faygo, which is the Insane Clown Posse soda, which I think is really funny. So I like to support them. And Bubbly's Pepsi. They're just trying to break into the market. But don't get me started on the carbonated beverage wars, all right? Don't even get me started. Hey, Kel Snake says, I'm doing great. Thank you. Appreciate that. So like I mentioned, lidded boxes, I'll get rolling on it in a second. If you're interested in supporting the show a little bit, helping me buy some sandpaper, you can leave me a super chat. There's a bunch of links in the description down below. I got PayPal, Venmo, all that stuff. There's also a new addition is a affiliate link with Starbond adhesives. I have been using their glue for years, and it really is some of the best CA, in my opinion, on the market. So we kind of teamed up with them, which is cool. So if you click the link down there or use the code Braxton, you get 10% off, and I'll get 10% too. So it's a win-win for both of us. It's a win-win-win because Starbond wins too, and it is excellent stuff. I really do wholeheartedly support it. It's some of the best CA that I've ever used. Better than the 2P whatever, better than a lot of, I forget the other, Stick Fast maybe is another one. I don't know, but it doesn't like explode and bubble up when you hit it with the activator. It's good stuff. So what say we get into turning a lidded box? Oh yeah, 30 degrees warmer for sure. Yeah, it's 60 something right now. I'm loving it. Let's see, just a random idea. I reckon a live edge top would be possible. It would absolutely be possible. You could take a piece of burl, like a nice burl with the cap on top of it, and turn it in such a way that you've got the burl at the top. One thing you would have to take into consideration is how you would re-chuck the piece of burl, because you wouldn't be able to put a tenon on it, but you could part it off. Here's just an idea. Make your little tenon and part the top off with the burl cap, and then make a jam chuck for that and stick it inside or clamp it on the outside so you could get in and hollow it. And then you could flip it around and put it back on the main piece and take some skim cuts. But yeah, you could do that with a live edge. It would be fun. New Doodle Workshop is out there. How you guys doing? You didn't miss much. I turned a little top just to kind of warm up. And then we're going to be doing a lidded box tonight. 14 people out there. How about 14 thumbs ups, 14 comments? Let's roll. Get it going. Tell your friends. We'll turn some wood. Let me switch the camera and make sure I got you in a good angle. We get up pretty close since I'm not going to be swinging around when I'm doing the hollowing. Here we go. All right. Need a piece of gum too. How's that? We'll try that. I can move you around too, like when I'm going to part it off, and this will be good for now. So what I'm going to do first is rough it around. I'm just using my regular roughing gouge for this. As far as orientation goes, this would be oriented like a traditional spindle turning. You have your face grain, long grain going this way, end grain at the ends. So you could, if you don't have one of these, you could use just about anything to rough this out. Bowl gouge, whatever you're comfortable with using. This case, I like this one. Makes pretty quick work of it. We'll double check, make sure we're nice and tight. Not going to go too fast. Just getting into a circle. Start at one end. Kind of take light cuts. Work your way back. This This one's going to be weird because it's kind of rectangle shaped too. So a little more roughing. We're getting pretty close now. Check it out. I'm going to scoop my tool rest up. Yeah, we're about there. Just need to even it out. Make sure we're nice and tight. Okay. That'll be good for now. I still have to do the tenons. So next I'll cut the tenon into this end. And I'm going to use, this is just old Harbor Freight parting tool that I ground at kind of an angle. So put that in there and get myself a tenon. I'll take it out, flip it around. Okay. Take my drive spur out. A little large on the tenon, but it's not a huge issue. They're going to get turned off anyways. We don't really need the front one, but we'll put it up there just for safety. Tighten down. Okay, I'm going to even it out. So we've got a bit of a taper up to this end. So I'll even it out and then I'll put my tenon on. It'll be kind of hard to see from your angle. Yeah, you can see the taper more now. I'm using my finger as a depth stop on my tool rest, so it can only go in so far. I'm just taking a light skim cut as I go down. I'm watching the top of the piece so I can see the profile change as I'm taking wood away. I can see it's still a little high here, dips down there, and then maybe a little bump there too. I'm just kind of starting from the lowest spot and slowly working my way over. That feels pretty good. The rest of it we can sand out. So yeah, it's kind of actually some cool looking wood. It's really, really straight grain. This tree was massive, massive tree. The limbs, I got 22-inch blanks out of just the limbs alone. So this was a center cut. The pith would have been, somewhere in the middle. And so this was just a center cut out of the tree. So it's just really nice quarter sawn material. But it's incredibly straight grain, which is almost kind of a cool feature. There we go. If I move my other light, you can kind of see it. All right, let me put the tenon on the other side, and then we'll talk about cutting it in two. Okay, we'll go touch smaller. All right. And I've got my tape measure. 1 second. Talk about where I'm going to split this thing. Pencil. Got the tape. Just need a pencil now. How about a Sharpie, I suppose. All right. So we're about 4 1/4 inches long on this one. We'll probably get a little bit shorter, so we'll call it 4 inches. We'll lose a little probably on not much on the bottom, but definitely some on the top. So we'll say it's 4 inches. A good rule of thumb is 2/3. 2/3 on the bottom, 1/3 on the top, where your split comes out. And that just makes it better aesthetically. It's just nicer to look at rather than putting it straight in the middle. Plus, it gives you a little more capacity in the bottom. You can hold whatever you're going to be putting in there. More stuff. Yeah, so let's see. We're 4 1/4. We'll lose at least 1/4 on the on where the tenon comes out. So about 2 1/2. We'll go right there. Let me move you more straight on. Ooh, SKP. Okay, I'm gonna make sure it's not touching anywhere. All right, cool. Yeah, so 1/3, 2/3. We'll kind of split this line. Actually, yeah, we'll split the line for when I go in to part it off. I'm going to use my 1/8 inch parting tool. You could use, actually this one might be really good because you want to keep the shoulder pretty square. So this would actually be a really good one for this. And it's probably about 3/8 of an inch. So yeah, that would make for a good little tenon. Yeah, let's do that. Otherwise, I would have used my 1/8 inch parting tool and just taken it in kind of 3 bites. But yeah, we'll give this a shot and see how it works. I think I've cut with this once or twice, so it should be pretty sharp. Once I get this cut out, I'll jump into the chat and see what's going on. Looks like Cherokee hit me with a super chat. Thank you so much. That really means a lot. Give me a 12-pack of something nice. Okay, let's do this. We don't need to go too far. That's 3/16 maybe, heavy 1/8 deep, and then the width on it is nice too. I might go a little bit taller to give myself a taller shoulder here, or a taller tenon here, to maybe try to get a nice pop fit. Okay, one thing to think about too, the wider you make this, the more grain you're going to lose. And so then the grain is not going to line and match up as well. So you can definitely do it much smaller than this, but I'm going for kind of a nice pop fit. Next step is to part in and work on separating the lid from the body. I'm going to do that with my 1/8 inch parting tool. And then here is where the tip from Pat Carroll comes in. So instead of parting tight up against the bottom of the lid, come back just a hair. So when you're done, you leave yourself with a tiny little reference mark on there. So you know exactly where to start hollowing into, or exactly where to, cut back to. And ever since then, it's just been like, oh, cake. It's one of those things that just seems like really easy, but all of a sudden, like it wouldn't click. And then when I heard it, I'm like, oh man, I feel like a dummy for not doing this, but it's an amazing trick. So I'm going to come in just shy of the lid to leave myself a small reference mark. And I don't want to hollow all the way. You can just see it on there. I don't know if you can get it on the camera. But I don't want to hollow it all the way. I want to be, I'm going to cut it because it's not really safe to shove your parting tool super far inside there like that. And this will cut really quick. go. And my parting tool almost took it off, but I can still see just a tiny little reference mark on there, so I'll know where to work back to and where to start hollowing. But now that we got this done, I'm going to sand up the outside. Actually, you know what? We'll put it back together and then sand it. I'm going to hollow it out and finish the inside, and then we will take this out and put this in. Or, yeah, we'll do it that way. You could do it either way. You could take this out, put the top in, hollow it. But, yeah, maybe, yeah, let's try that. Indecisive tonight, you know? Go. All right. We jump out to the chat, see what's going on. Got to scroll up a little bit. Yep, Cherokee with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate it. Ooh, Chad from Mancrafting's out there. How you doing, buddy? I'm doing well. Hope you guys are staying safe and laying low. Yes, yes. Perfection takes time. Hey, Billy Burt's out there. How you doing, buddy? Got 14 people out there. Nice to see you all. I'm going to realign my tool rest here, and we'll start hollowing it out. Take my tailstock down. I am going to be hollowing this out. You could hollow this out with a lot of different stuff. Carbide tools, round nose scrapers work really well. In that basic Harbor Freight kit, you can get, I think it's a 3/4 round nose scraper. Yeah, it's this one. It's about 3/4. I custom ground mine to match the box scraper that Jimmy Clues makes. Before I bought this one, I had this tool, and it works well just in its stock form with the round over, and you can hollow into end grain really well with this. It's about the only tool besides the parting tool that's worth anything in that kit, to be honest. The roughing gouge is okay, but the handles are garbage, so a lot of times they're just going to break on you. But yeah, so I'll be using this. This is a box scraper, Jimmy Clues signature box scraper, made by Thompson Tools. You can check these out. And on Jimmy's website, I have a link to them in the description below, just to his website. So he's got the box scrapers on there. They're a lot of fun. I got custom with mine, rounded the corners so that I could fit it in my quick release. It's fun to use the way it's ground. It's got this side is not 90 degrees, so you sort of come in at an angle, and it keeps the tool out of the way while you're hollowing it. Rather than coming straight in, you're coming in at an angle, so the rest of the tool behind it isn't dragging on anything as you're going in. And then once you get to the bottom, you can sort of pivot it and make a nice round bottom with it. I rolled over my edge just slightly. From the factory, it comes really sharp, but I kind of liked it rolled over. It's a little more forgiving when I get down into the bottom. Yeah, let's get to hollowing this thing out. I want to find a pencil so I can mark that line. I didn't leave as much as I suggested I should, of course, because I just talked about it. I'll never find a pencil that you need one. Okay. Yeah, so with that reference mark, you don't have to use calipers or anything like that. You just have it there right away. So I'll back up to it. I'm going to sneak up to that, and I don't want to go too far, because then you can't put wood back on, and your box isn't going to fit good. So yeah, I got that line marked. Forgot I hadn't switched your camera yet. Let's see. There we go. That should be good for hollowing. Yeah, I'll be in like that, so should get you a good shot. This one we want to be cutting right on the center line. Looks like I'm a bit high, so I'm going to drop my tool rest down a little bit. Okay, yeah, good. Still just a bit high. We'll see how this stuff hollows too. It's all into end grain, and this stuff is a little bit open grain, so it might not be too pretty in there. Although I do have the little teardrop scraper, we might be able to clean it up. Let's see. I'm going to blow out your shot. Kind of. Let's put it on the top. Okay. Oh, yeah. That doesn't look great. Might be able to put some sanding sealer and get some cleaner cuts, or just come back and scrape it with the teardrop scraper. I'm going to start checking the fit. I'm not really close to the size, but I always like to get in there just to get an idea of how far off I am. It's hard to see, isn't it? Yeah, that totally kind of blows it out. It's getting hard to see, though. I got to pull that in there. Almost. Even with the reference line, it still takes a little bit to to get it because I just don't want to overshoot it. Especially at this point, I almost would prefer a tight fit to a loose one because I can always come back and take a little material off here or take a little material off here once the main, the majority of the box is finished. Like I mentioned earlier, you can't put it back on, you can only take it off. You're right there. Looks pretty dead square. Just a whisper now. A little bit more. So I'm not super concerned about how long it takes me to get a good fit. I'm more concerned about whether or not I can get a good fit. So that's what I'm worried about right now. Okay, I think that's going to be it. I just need to go a touch deeper. I'm going to keep away from the rim so I don't make it any wider. I'm just going to make it deeper. Hey, that actually wasn't too bad of a cut. We don't have too much tear out in there right now. It's looking pretty good. Hopefully it shows up all right for you guys. I don't know, it's hard to tell on my little laptop. Okay. Taper just a bit. Almost there. Let's see. Looks like it should be deep enough. Maybe not. Just a little more. There we go. Nice. Yep. Cool. Yeah. Got a good tight fit there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to avoid messing with this. I'm just going to sand up the inside. And then I'll take this out, turn this around, hollow the body. Grab sandpaper here. I don't think we need to go to the teardrop scraper. Although, I mean, we could. Yeah, I'll just get her sanded up. We start at 240. It's pretty smooth in there. 320, 400. And finish with 6. All right. Got it. Everybody's favorite part, right? And 600. I'm thinking about dyeing this too, just since it's kind of regular grain. Wanted to mess around with doing a dye on the inside and on the outside. Just touch that inside with the 600. Make sure it's still. Yep. Okay. Yeah, why not? You know, I got my dye out. Let's do it. I think I'm going to go blue on the inside and purple on the outside. Let's see how that looks. There's a little bit of a pencil line right there that I want to clean up, though. I'd rather do it with sandpaper than with a tool. Okay. All right, let me get a glove on. Dye this thing. I'll spray some clear in it, and then I'll go out to the comment section, see what's going on. Paper towel. Wonder how end grain's going this way, so it's going to suck in that way. I wonder how deep it'll go. We'll find out. It's just a for fun piece. Do a little experimenting. I'll do blue right there as well. Why not, huh? So still got a couple spots, and I don't want to saturate it because I don't want it to suck in too much. So far, it's not bleeding throughout the outside at all, which is nice. But my rubbing alcohol, I'll thin this out a little bit, and hopefully it'll get it to absorb into those spots. Yep, getting there. Uh-oh, somebody's upset inside. I don't know if you guys could hear my daughter crying. Alcohol on there. Nice even coat of blue. Got a bit on the outside, but we don't need to worry about that. I'll be taking a skim coat off of it anyways. Wait for that alcohol to dry, and I'll hit it with some polyurethane. Let that spin for a little bit. Dry up. And then we'll move on to the outside. Ooh, bunch of sawdust. Let me switch cameras real quick. Go see what's going on in the chat. How many people? 17 people. I think this is a record for turning and hanging out. This is a record for us, so thank you, all 17 of you out there. We've been going for like, an hour now. I figured I'd have this thing bashed out by now. But I did turn that top beforehand. Let's see, yeah. Lidded box. Ooh, with the great fit, yep. Can't forget that. Yeah, I got rubbing alcohol. I couldn't believe it. Only 70%. I prefer the 91 myself, but 70 will do in a pinch. Oh, Jim says, man, I didn't know you could smooth the dial out like that. Yeah, to a point you can. The alcohol reactivates it, so it'll help you kind of move it around. Turning, God, no. I'm just a man who loves to make shavings. Hey, Patrick's out there. How you doing, Patrick? The inside of this, I was spraying it with Minwax, fast drying, clear satin polyurethane. And let's see, I'm going to switch back over there. to the other camera. We'll pull this thing off and re-chuck it up. Okay. Poppy's Woodshed's out there. How you doing, buddy? Okay. Pull this one. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. End grain soaked up some of that polyurethane, but that's all right. It's got a good coat on there. I can come back and clean up the finish after the fact. So we'll set that aside. Put this one in. Get to work hollowing this out. Finish the inside. And then once we get the inside finished, then we will put the top back on and finish, make a finish cut on the outside. I'll work my way over the top and take the tenon down. And then I'll dye it. Once I get it all ready to go, I'll dye the outside. Okay, let's get going. I'm going to hollow it straight in, about all the way down. You could do this a whole lot of ways, just like the other one. You could even use a Forstner bit with a Jacobs chuck and drill it in there and hollow it out. That way you'll have a little, point at the bottom that you'll have to come back and clean up. But there's tons of different ways to do this. That's what makes it a good project. Have a little drink of the LaCroix. Okay, we got about 1/8 inch there. You don't want to go too small. Keep it, keep it with some strength, but at the same time, you don't want the piece to be really heavy. So overall, I got a little heavy 1/4 inch, I'd say, between there. So yeah, heavy 1/4 inch, not quite 3/8. I'm gonna go another 1/2 inch down, 3/4 of an inch deep. Try to get you a little closer. I don't know if it's going to be in focus though. We're getting a little deep, for this tool, so we're starting to get a little bit of bounce. I'm going to scoop my tool rest in as close as I can get it. This is a nice thick piece of steel, so it provides a lot of dampening. If you're doing this with the one from Harbor Freight, we've got quite a bit of difference there, so you're going to get more bouncing out of this. Also, this is like subpar steel, but just keep an eye on how far out this way. The more you go this way, the more it's going to bounce around on you and start to vibrate and give you some catches. So I think, I can go a little bit more. Yeah, we'll call that good. I take one more. I got a little bit of a hump right there in the corner, so I'll probably take that and skim it out. Oh, Machine Right, $10 super chat because I know how to turn it up. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. There's again why I love this tool. As I'm coming in, the edge of it is even with the side, but the body of the tool is out of the way, so I'm not dragging my whole piece down the whole side down my piece. It's all off. Look at just a little bit more. Bump you out of the way. Yeah, we're pretty good on the bottom. Hey, Brian's Woodshop, $2 super chat. He says he's learning from this. Thank you very much. I'm hoping it'll help some people. I'm halfway decent at turning these. I just simply because I love to do them, and I've done a whole bunch of them, and I had some great instruction. So I'm, hoping to pass some of that along to other people. I think lidded boxes are one of my favorite things to turn. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to sand up that inside and we'll get some dye on there. And we'll get some dye on the outside too. I'm going to clean this up a bit, however. I'll use sandpaper for that, though. Let's start with some 180. Whoop. Tool rest out of the way. And light you back up. You always want to be really careful when you're reaching your hand and things. If you get too far away from the center, it'll grab your fingers and bounce them around. Let's hope that doesn't happen to me. I'll show you a trick, though. Actually, I need to find an eraser. So I can pencil with an eraser so I can get down in the corners. That's one trick I like to use. Got one. Okay, start with the sides and then I'll use the pencil. Actually, this one's not too bad. I might not need the pencil. But when I do use a pencil, I like to sandwich it around and then get it in such a way that the sandpaper will fold over top of the eraser. Since the eraser is spongy, I can get it to fit into the corners. So that's a good way I like to sand the corners. The bottoms as well. If I can get my fingers out of the way so you can see what I got going on. It's a good little tip. Keeps your fingers out of there. You got the eraser. It's pretty mushy, so you can get it down into the corners. Okay, on to the next. Kind of cool. I'm watching myself on the screen. It's like one of those hollowing systems that uses a camera when you're inside big old hollow forms. Loose die. $320. Yeah, if you're reaching your fingers inside deep stuff like that, it can get kind of sketchy sometimes. So you always want to be careful. This one's not too deep, but the bigger they get, the deeper they get, the more you want to watch yourself. $400. Here's our 6. Okay. Blow it out of there. Don't know why I turned it back on. Yeah, we actually got a pretty good finish from that box scraper. Had it nice and sharp. And even on this dry, end grain, it's still looking pretty good. Let me get the 600. Just a little on that outside. I don't want to mess with the fit too much. Okay, then I'll put some gloves on. We'll dye the inside, spray it a little bit, and I'll go to the chat, see what's going on. Anybody got any questions so far? Or have I been explaining it well enough? Yeah, missed the spot. You haven't done this before. It's kind of fun since the wood is sort of, like I said, plain. A little experiment. Probably sit on my experiment shelf. Now let's get some rubbing alcohol. Got some. I need to get the dye down into the cracks here. We'll see if I can spread it out a little. That seems to be working. Like I said, I'm not super concerned about it getting on the outside. Hopefully it doesn't stain too much, but there'll be more dye over the outside, and there'll be another finish and things like that. So there's also kind of some spotting marks that look a little darker on the outside, so it may end up looking like that. There we go. Let's get our spray lacquer, or our polyurethane. People want to call it spray lacquer, but same thing, Get some right down to the bottom. A little bit of polyurethane on there will help that tighten the fit up too, in case I sanded too much away. But yeah, let's let that dry. Switch cameras around, see what we got going on out there. 17 people right now. I thought I saw somebody out of the corner of my eye mention we had 20 at one point, which is awesome. So let's see. Let me scroll back up here. Yeah, Brian's Woodshop, $2. Thank you so much. Oh, Cherokee said 19. There it was. 19. Yes, and definitely thanks for the support. Machine Right. You're the man. Yes, Patrick's right also. Please give this video a like. Helps the YouTube algorithms do whatever they're going to do. Explained it very well. Oh, I will tell Boyd happy birthday. I'll definitely do that. It's my son's birthday today, which he turned 8 years old. He's been hanging out inside playing Fortnite all day. We got a new gaming headset that he's really excited about. And I woke up really early this morning, like 3:45 or so, and I drove. Luckily, the donut shop was open. Our favorite donut shop, it's like 15 minutes away or something like that. So I was able to get him a whole bunch of maple bars, which are his favorite. So I got him 8 maple bars for his 8th birthday. That was his special request. We weren't able to have a birthday party for him or for my daughter, which was kind of a bummer. She just turned 4 on the 1st, and he just turned 8. But you know what? It is what it is at this point. He had a lot of fun today, so that's good. How is the podcast going? We'll be getting together pretty soon. Tomorrow I'm sitting down to do the editing for a short interview series with Chad Schimmel that I did when I was down in Arizona. So that'll be uploaded pretty soon. And then I'll get together with Jason and Carl and we'll get another one out. Jonathan Ledford wanted to know, do I ever power sand? I do power sand. I just ran out of the 2-inch hook and loop, and so I haven't bought any more. So typically I have been just doing it by hand, which is, mainly just as effective. My cuts have been getting better, so there's less to sand out, so I haven't had like a real need for the power sanding. On something this small too, I wouldn't really do it anyways because it's just hard to maneuver. Usually that's just on bigger bowls. Yes. Shirky said, hit like, Patrick. I always forget to. Yes. Thanks again, Patrick, for reminding. Jason hit like. Thank you, sir. Hey, Ty Moser's out there. What's up, Ty? All right. Let me turn this off, switch your camera, and we'll see how we look. Cool. Yeah, we got a nice even coated die. The polyurethane's a little bit wet, but that's okay. Maybe they'll stick together. So now we're essentially done with the inside at this point. So I'm going to match up my grain. We're going to hope that we still got a good fit. If not, there's some things we can do. Oh, yeah, I can feel that polyurethane. Perfect. Nice. That'll be a nice tight fit. That's what we're looking for. I'm still going to bring my tailstock up for most of this. I'll take a skim cut on the outside, try to clean up that blue dye. And then with the tailstock in place, I'll take this tenon off and start working it around and get a nice round top on our box. I'll pull the tailstock away at the kind of the last moment, and we'll finish the top. It should be tight enough with the all that polyurethane on there now that we won't have to worry about it flying off. That's the really important part. There's a few things you can do if you have a loose fit. Sometimes you can take a paper towel and put a paper towel and sandwich it over top of the paper towel, and that'll make it tight. Or alternatively, you get it up there, put your tailstock in place, get everything nice and tight, take your skim cuts so it gets even on the outside, and then you tape it. Wrap a bunch of tape around it so it holds it in place. But the main goal is to get a good fit right off the bat so you don't have to worry about messing with that kind of stuff. Okay. Let me get my tool rest or my tailstock up. Okay, not too much pressure. Again, we're pushing on into the end grain there, so we don't want to. I still have some thickness, but I just don't want to collapse into it if, for whatever reason, it gets too thin. But just a little bit of pressure on it. I'm going to move my light up here. And you can see that big blob of dye. So back here, I didn't do myself any favors. Should have made my tenon a bit smaller so the edge of my jaws didn't stick out. So now I'm going to have to worry about hitting that. So what I'm going to do is just not go super close to it and hope it's all right. When I switch it around, I should be able to clean that up. Because I still have to turn the tenon off the bottom of the main body of the box as well. Going back to my regular spindle roughing gouge. Still a little bit more. We got, seems like maybe a little bit of a dip right there. Let me take a couple more passes. Yeah, it looks like she kind of sucked into the end grain there. I'll see if I can sand it away a bit, but chances are we're just going to have a little blue line around there, which is cool. Live and learn. That's why I like this. You can experiment with stuff. Like I mentioned, it's just a regular old junky piece of wood that has been sitting on my shelf forever. So why not try something new? One thing maybe that we could do to avoid this problem is when I had turned the outside, I could sand it up and finish it or put some sanding sealer on it. So hopefully it would seal into that end grain and not allow the dye to penetrate. So that may be an option. I can try that in the future and see how it comes out. But for now, we're going to go with it. I'm going to turn my tool rest a little bit and start working on the tenon, taking that away. What is going to be the best orientation for this? Scoot it up a little bit. Move my tail stock out of the way so I can get this thing a little further up. Yeah, that'll do it. Raise you guys a little too while I'm at it. There we go. So for this, I think I'll use my spindle gouge, my 1/2-inch spindle gouge. Need a little bit of practice with this one, so it'll be nice to, practice kind of rolling a bead. Go for a nice dome on there. I'm going to switch back to something I know a little bit better, which is the bowl gouge. And I'll cheat. And I'll do a little shear scrape with the wing and clean up the corners. All right. Okay. I'm about as close in as I'm comfortable getting. So I'm going to pull the tailstock away. I'll clean that up and then we'll sand it, dye the outside, and get some finish on there. This is where it gets a little bit nerve-wracking when doing stuff like this. You just don't want that thing flying off of there. So what we'll do is take nice light cuts, keeping the pressure going inward. I don't want to cut across or cut in any way that's going to make this want to pull off. So I'll just keep everything inward. I'll start it with my bowl gouge. Once I get down to where I'm happy, I'm going to switch to the teardrop scraper. We'll clean up some of that end grain. This still has some mulberry on it. Okay. Not too bad. I'm going to reposition my tool rest so I can use this and get a nice shear cut across the top and around the side. Yeah, not too bad. This stuff sands pretty well too. So I'll be able to sand it out. Actually, I think that's what I'll do with this sides. It doesn't look too bad. I don't want to risk blowing anything out. So we'll just sand it. Get that out of the way. Yeah, not too bad. A little bit of a blue line there. Let me run through the grits real quick, and then I'll keep that on. We'll get some dye on it, and I'll go back to the chat, see what everybody's up to out there. There's my 150. Turn it down. Probably a little bit of that one. Yeah, we got a nice smooth domed top. Just kind of a classic box. A little quick there. You know what I forgot about? That little end right down here. Let me address that real quick because I can see just a slight hump. I forgot I was going to do it when I turned around, but I just realized I could come in with this guy right next to the jaw and just nip that corner off. Let me get my light up here so I can see what I'm doing. There. Just like that. Right. 400. And 600. Cool. Yeah. I don't know if it's too blown out for you guys or not, but we got a nice finish on there aside from that blue line. So we'll see what it looks like when we get some purple on there. Or we could just do the outside blue and be done with it. But I kind of want to see what the purple looks like. I'm not using too much of this stuff. A little goes a long way. It doesn't look super purple to you guys. It's a little more blue. Yeah, looking good. A little bit more of the cracks down here. Just gotta saturate this. There we go. And I'll squish it and sponge it in there, and then the grain will suck it up. Cool. Let me get a whole coat of rubbing alcohol on there. Let's see if we can pull a little of it back. But yeah, that blue line's gone pretty much. Better be careful with this rubbing alcohol. I don't want to use too much. Don't know when I'll be able to find it again, you know? But cool. Yeah, we got a nice even coat on there. Wait a minute. Oh, no. Just a little lighter spot in the grain. And at the bottom, oh, I'm missing a couple down here too. Luckily, I'm looking in the camera. And it's making them pop out. Hey, there's a couple. No. Oh, that's just that same spot again. All right. A little more rubbing alcohol. Cool. Yeah, it definitely looks blue on the camera, but it looks purple in real life. Let me hit it with some spray lacquer or polyurethane. Did it again. And then we'll go to the chat for a bit while it dries. Don't want to go too much. Again, it might still be a little tacky when I go to pull it off. But this is just a sort of a demo piece anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Let me switch the camera here. All right. See what we got going in the chat. Pushing 2 hours here, but we're almost done. Just gotta, flip it around and finish the bottom. Let's see. Kobe. RIP Kobe. 15 people still out there. Sure do appreciate it. Let's see. Jim said he had to run. Let's see. He's convinced tomorrow he is going to turn one of these. Cool. I want to do a little more in-depth also. Let's see. I miss fresh donuts too. I had a couple, but I've been on a diet lately, trying to drop some pounds. So usually donuts are out of the question. But when you wake up at 4 in the morning, you want to do it. Let's see. Jonathan Ledford wants to know, do you prefer the 40-40 grind? I have never used the 40-40 grind. I know a lot of people like it. They have great success with it. I've never been instructed on it or taught how to, sharpen it. You have to manually sharpen it as opposed to using a jig. I use the one-way Wolverine sharpening jig. So, and that, I think I sharpen at about a 40-degree angle on my bowl gouge, maybe 45. I don't know exactly what it is. But yeah, so I am not the one to ask on it. I know people use it with great success, though. Thank you. I am aspiring. Yep, the mulberry was good. Let's see. Watching this reminds me of how much I love turning lidded boxes. You're welcome. You should definitely turn one tomorrow. I'll post it on Instagram and tag me. Yeah, we got the purple on the outside. Don't even worry about that now. Let's see. Turn the lathe on and polish it to give it one more even coat. That's not a bad idea. I just don't know if it'll be dry enough for any polishing. It's still a little bit wet. But mainly I just want it to kind of seal up. It's going to be satin finish anyways. So I can come back and, sand it with maybe 600 and cut back any high spots. And then I'll probably put like some oil on the outside of it or something like that. Let's see. What else we got? Yeah, I'm going to be stingy with the alcohol. Let's see. Do you ever have to clean polyurethane off your chuck? Probably have to, but do I? No, I don't. Yeah, it's got a coat on there. No big deal. It doesn't get down into the guts of it, and I don't spray a whole lot on there, so it's not like it builds up really thick. If it ever becomes an issue, I definitely will. But routinely, I'll clean the whole chuck anyways. But I'm not super worried about it. Get some on the bed too. If I ever notice it being an issue, I'll just kind of sand it down and put a little coat of wax on there. That was the last question. Let me switch your camera back, and we'll see what we're working with. I may need to – I'll check the fit. Now's the time I can get that really nice fit on it if it's still a bit tight. Yeah, so we're not getting any purple off there. So the polyurethane did its job. Let's see. Yep. Oh, you can hardly even tell the blue from the purple. I'll have to post some pictures of it. It's kind of cool. I like it. Yeah. So one thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to get the lid on there. I'm going to grip the lid, and I'm going to spin it. And that's going to loosen up where it's hitting. So already I've got a little bit nicer fit. But I think, I can hear that pop. But that's still a little bit tight for my liking. I don't want it to be difficult to get on and off of there. So I think I may come in and hit this with just a little bit of sandpaper, and then I can come back. I'll use 600, and I can come back with some dye if I get all the way through it. I don't think I will, but maybe. Turn the lathe speed down. We're just going to come in with this 600 grit. And that's actually just polishing that polyurethane on there. Getting through it just a little bit. But let's see how it fits. Oh, yeah. Still got the pop. Just a little bit more. Feels good, but again, we don't want people to struggle. We want a nice, smooth fit. Maybe just to where you can pick the box up and give it a little shake, and it's not going to fall apart, but not so much that you're really yanking on it to get it off. We want not a wood turner's fit. People who buy these boxes aren't going to be concerned with the pop fit. That's straight from the mouth of Jimmy. We want a lady's fit on this, a very delicate, gentle fit, not a suction pop fit. I'm going with a little bit heavier grit sandpaper here to take a little bit more off. All right. So it's good to line your grain up when you put it back on too. Oh, yeah. We're getting there. I can see it starting to come off. Take a little bit of the blue off, but not to worry. Yeah, a little bit more. Famous last words. Almost. Still got a little bit of a pop. Whoop. Dropped her. Luckily, there's tons of shavings down there. Oop. Oh, that's sawdust. So what I really want is that. Yeah, it's a nice fit. I'm going to go just a touch more. We're going for let's see, I forget his name. From the Tree is his Instagram, but he makes some beautiful boxes, and he's got those where they just float down onto it. That's box goals right there for sure. Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. Let me give her just a touch more. See, this is another, just like when I'm sneaking up on the fit in the lid. I don't mind how long it takes me to get this, as long as I can get a really good fit. So if you got to stop, 50 times and sand things away, that's all right. Oh, yeah, there it is right there. We're going to call that perfect. Yep. Still holds itself on there, but just a gentle pull gets it off. So let me come back and put a bit of dye on there again. I'll be real careful with that. And then we'll flip this around, turn the bottom off. Excuse me. Lots of dust. I need to turn my fan on. See what we got going on out here. The poly protects the chuck. Yeah, exactly. That is right. The polyurethane. It is a satisfying pop, but I'm not going for the pop on this one. I'm going delicate fit. Here's our blue. Let me just double check that. Yeah, Eric Sanchez is right. I'm just putting a protective coating on there. Paid good money for this chuck. I want to protect it. There. Cool. Next up is flipping it around, turning the tenon off the bottom. So this can get a little tricky. Using a jam chuck is typically the best method. Nice and secure. I have just a scrap piece of wood. So I'll turn this one down until I can get a nice fit inside there. And again, when I switch it around, I will keep the tailstock up as long as possible. Let me move my top out of the way so I don't drop it again. I'm going to pull this out of the chuck. Chuck this one up. This is a piece of box elder pearl too. I'm just using as a jam chuck. But it's kind of an odd size. Once I get that smaller chuck, I'd be able to turn this one into a lidded box and it'd look really cool. But for now, it's been a jam chuck. So we just got to get it to where it'll fit nice and tightly over there. Maybe I'll use my little carbide tool for this too. I always forget about it. So we're pretty close. I want to just sneak up on it. Just like when we're fitting the lid. A little at a time. Don't want to overshoot it. Sometimes it helps to taper it too. You can get once you can get the get it to start, then you'll know what size it needs to be, and you can work your way back on the taper. This one was pretty dang close. Yep. Almost. That's dang near the same diameter as what I had. Just a tiny bit bigger. This step is pretty important too, because you don't want to ruin the whole thing while you're trying to finish the bottom. So you got to make sure that you get this jam chuck pretty well. Go. And I'll put a little shoulder for the top of it to rest up against too. And that'll give it some strength as well. Cool. Just about there. I don't think I need my shoulder quite so far back. Almost there. There we go. Yeah, that'll be good enough for the bottom. Be very gentle with it. I don't want to put a whole lot of inward pressure on it because I don't want to split it apart. So make sure we're nice and tight on there. Again, really gentle, delicate cuts until I'm all the way into the middle and can take away that tailstock and just finish the bottom. Put this one back. Get that, my teardrop scraper. Use my bowl gouge. And I like to put some little details in there, so I'll get my detail gouge and put some little V grooves. I would do some beads, but on this end grain, I think the beads would just get destroyed. So we'll just stick with a couple little grooves on the bottom. So here we go. Let's get this thing done. Just about there, and we want to undercut the bottom just a little bit so that it's always sitting on the outside rim and not in case the inside isn't perfect. You know, you don't want it rocking around, so if you undercut it a bit, it'll just sit right on that outside rim. Okay. Switch to my detail gouge to get a little bit more of this material away. Okay, I'm just about ready. We'll back that tailstock off. Very gently take away this little nub, and then I'll use my teardrop scraper to clean it up. Put a couple little details, sand it, dye it, call it good. Very light cuts, inward pressure. There's still a chance of this thing flying off. switch to my teardrop. Clean it up. Okay, we check it and make sure it's even across the bottom. It's like just a touch high in the center. Okay. All right. Here's my detail gouge. And very carefully Yep, those will work. Let me get some sandpaper, dye, and we'll be good to go on this one. Oh, here's all my paper down here. Let me lower that speed a bit for the sanding. I'll be able to put this in my laser engraver too and engrave my signature on the bottom, so we'll see how it looks once, through the die. I've engraved a decent amount of this Siberian elm, and it does pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see how it works through the die. You guys can't even see the lines, can you? Okay. I think that's my purple one there. Sure looks like purple. It's the one I used to clean up the outside. Need another shot. Ooh, not too much. This stuff is powerful. Make sure it's all saturated into that end grain. Yeah, I think we're good. Cool, let's let that dry. Hit it with some polyurethane, and we'll be good. Well, great success tonight, huh? It's always nice when we can pull something off. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching me turn this. And picked up a few things along the way. Let's let this thing spin for a little bit, and I'll switch cameras. Yes, yes. Bless you, no COVID. Luckily, we're got a lot of social distance between us, right? Excuse me. Sawdust. It's not the Rona. It's the sawdust that's getting me. Mulberry pollen, too. Colin, here's what I was spraying. If you can get away from the glare. Just clear satin, fast drying, Minwax, sprayed polyurethane. It's great stuff. Let me clear a space from my lidded box, and we'll see if we can get a good shot of the fit. That's the most important part. Should be about ready to pull it off the chuck here. Let's switch over. Like I said, probably not fully dry. Normally I'd give it a while to do the drying, but we're not too worried about it. Gently pull it back. There we go. Yeah, it's hard to... The camera doesn't really pick up the difference in the colors. It is subtle, but you can definitely see it. All right. The important part. Bear with me here. I'm going to raise the legs on the tripod so I can give you a proper final shot. Get a look around my garage. Okay, there's my light that got you lit up with. There's a whole bunch of bowls and things I need to sell. Laser engraver. Got my recliner over there. I know New Doodle Workshop's jealous of that one. Maybe they need to do a re-release. Limited edition. Wood show signs. Okay. There we go. She's just coming into view there. All right. Let me close this thing out of the way. Chris DeKay wants to know, have I ever used RIT dye? Toying with the idea for something my mom might be watching around with. I have never used RIT dye. This is alcohol-based artisan dyes from Craft Supplies. So you can, I mean, that's where I got these, but I'm sure the RIT dye would work really well too. I don't know like what its like main base is. I don't know if it would kind of move around or thin out and spread around with alcohol the way this does to kind of even out the coat. But play around with it, see how it goes. Hey, you can kind of see the difference between that purple and the blue in this shot here. Let's see if I can find where it's supposed to fit. All right. That's where it's lined up there. So not quite a drop fit, but very gentle. Well, Just a little bit of a pop. And I could even probably take a little sandpaper and work it over in there and try to get it a little bit nicer. You can feel it just grabs. There's a little bit of air that rushes out when you press it down. But I'm, very happy with that fit. What do you guys think? Still a little plain Jane, all the blue, but, it's a good little box. You can fit lots of stuff in there. There are detail rings on the bottom. Yeah, that's kind of a good shot, too. You can see the end grain, even though this is a fairly porous wood, we haven't got any tear out on the end grain on the bottom or the top. We're looking pretty good. A little bit of a ring there in the bottom. Not 100%, but that's why we turn another one and try to do a little bit better. Cool. Let's see. Jason says, I heard RIT dye fades over time. That could be. I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't used it, but that might be something to research. Better dyes last longer. I've heard people dying with Kool-Aid. Yeah, I've heard that. You can use all kinds of stuff. Jonathan Ledford said, beautiful box. Was an absolute joy to watch tonight, and love that you've been giving more of a heads up. Tonight was a little quick. I didn't give too much, but I want to start giving, maybe a day notice. I don't know. Got to see how tomorrow goes. I may try to jump on here tomorrow, also Saturday evening. I have some kind of prototypes I need to make. That's all I'm going to say. I'm collaborating with somebody at a bike shop in Long Beach, and we're going to collaborate on a wood-turned piece for a bike. So I may jump on here tomorrow and just sort of mess around with that and see what I can get going. I had I must have moved them. I had a bunch of little bits and pieces that I picked up at the hardware store the last time I was there. But that's all I'm going to say. Maybe tomorrow, or maybe the next time I can get on here, we'll mess around with those. Also, I'd like to do a hollow form soon, too. So maybe after the bit of prototyping, then we'll do a little hollow form demo, small hollow form. I got a nice piece of walnut that I've been eyeing up. I need to turn. Let's see. Krista K, I've heard of that being used for kids' toys. Oh, it's Krista. Hey, what's the? Now I know who we're talking about. Hope you are staying safe, keeping that adorable little baby healthy and socially distant from everybody. New Doodle says, great job on the box. Wish we could see the true colors. I'll take some pictures of it and post them. And then hopefully I can get my camera to show up. They're pretty similar. So I probably should have gone with something with a little bit more contrast, but live and learn, Yes, wood bike parts. The only issue with it, they take a little bit of a beating. So I've already discussed with him the fact that I don't even know if we're going to be able to do it, but we'll see. It'll be fun to mess around with. +1 for the hollow form. Sure about that. Let's see, Jason. Beautiful. This is awesome. Yeah, man, I'm glad you stop, all right? You stop with your handlebar plugs. That's exactly what it is, all right? Bar ends. Yeah, I want to get a hollow form rolling too. That'll be a fun one. I can use my Megamate. But yeah, I think about 2.5 hours now. I think that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much. We still got 15 people watching, which is absolutely awesome. So thank you so much to everybody who came and watched and supported and commented and super chat and all that stuff. Again, if you want to help out with the show in the future, there's some links down below. PayPal, Venmo, a few bucks or whatever. Help me get some sandpaper. I've also got an Amazon affiliate link. You can click on that, make your normal purchases. Doesn't cost you anything, and I'll get a little bit of a kickback, as well as the Star Bond adhesives. I've got a affiliate link down below, and you use the code Braxton. You can get 10% off your order, and I'll get 10% too. So win-win-win for all of us. But no poker face. Yeah, I don't play poker, buddy. I'm too busy making shavings. So anyways, thank you so much, everybody out there. I'll try to give you a little more heads up for the next one. Like I said, maybe tomorrow night. We'll see how the family's going. It might be a little bit of a later hangout. But yeah, everybody stay safe, lay low. Cheers to you, and we'll see you next time.